Hey, this is Liv. Sorry for being quite so up close and personal. I'm just doing a really quick pre-video proper video thing. Basically, I filmed my whole April Part 2 haul and underestimated quite how massive it was. And editing it down, it was never going to be anything less than around about half an hour, which was ridiculous. So what I've decided to do is split the video into two. So I'm going to have an April wrap-up Part 2 and 3. Oh dear. So this first bit that you're watching now, this first video, is going to be the wrap-up of all the books that I've been sent by publishers. So if you hear me talking in the video about the big stack of books, like there is a big stack of books, but it's coming in the next one. So I'm going to try and upload this video now, the April wrap-up Part 2 sent by publishers, today, which is Saturday, and then on Sunday I'm going to edit the slightly larger section of the ones that I've bought, and I will upload that either sort of Sunday evening or Monday morning, depending on whenever I get that finished. Welcome to the Book Nook. Today I'm going to do the part 2 of the April wrap-up that I said I wasn't going to do, so I've got quite a large stack of books over here. I'm going to start with the ones that have been sent to me this month, because there are significantly fewer of those than the ones that I have bought. So first up is the second novel from Laura Barnett, and it's called Greatest Hits. Now, I read The Versions of Us last year, and I really quite enjoyed it. It was a really sweet novel that explored the different paths that our lives can take. It was almost like sliding doors, but with 3 doors rather than 2. And I really enjoyed it, and I passed it on to my mum and a few other people, and they quite liked it too. So I'm quite excited about this one to see what she does next. So I'm going to just have a little quick read of the blurb. Cass Wheeler, a British singer-songwriter hugely successful since the early 70s, whose sudden disappearance from the music world 3 decades later has been the subject of intense speculation among her fans, is in the studio that adjoins her home, taking a journey back into her past. Her task is to choose 16 songs from among the hundreds she has written since her early teens for a uniquely personal record describing the arc of her life through song. It has been over a decade since Cass last put out an album, 10 years since a tragedy catapulted her into a breakdown. In the course of this one day, both ordinary and extraordinary, each song Cass plays sets off a chain of memories, leading us deep into her past and into the creative impulse that has underpinned her work. So I'm quite intrigued by this one, a little look at a person's musical history. I think I will keep this one as a sort of summer read. Don't know whether you can see, but on the front cover she's got a guitar and a summer hat, so it feels like a summery book. So I think I'll probably read that one over the summer. The next book I was sent by the guys over at Fourth Estate is Modern Gods by Nick Laird. I'm really bad at Irish names, I apologise. So, Alison Donnelly has suffered for love. Still stuck in the Northern Irish town where she was born, working for her father's real estate agency, she hopes to pick up the pieces and get her life back together. Her sister Liz, a fiercely independent college professor who lives in New York City, is about to return to Ulster for Alison's second wedding, before heading off to an island on the coast of Papua New Guinea to make a TV show about the world's newest religion. Both sisters' lives are about to be shaken apart. Alison wakes up the day after her wedding to find her new husband has a past neither of them can escape. In a rainforest on the other side of the planet, Liz finds herself becoming increasingly entangled in the eerie, charged world of Belef, the subject of her show, a charismatic middle-aged woman who is the leader of a cargo cult. As Modern Gods ingeniously interweaves the stories of Liz and Alison, it becomes clear that both sisters must learn how to negotiate with the past, with the sins of fanaticism, and decide just what the living owe to the dead. This one looks really interesting, exploring sort of the impact on a family, and then also a new religion, so quite excited to give this one a go. The next one I was kindly sent from the guys over at Hodden & Stoughton is Hidden Nature by Alys Fowler. Leaving her garden to the mercy of the slugs, award-winning writer Alys Fowler sets out in an inflatable kayak to explore Birmingham's canal network, full of little used waterways where huge pike skulk and kingfishers dart. Her book is about noticing the wild everywhere and what it means to see beauty where you least expect it. What happens when someone who has learned to observe her external world in such detail decides to examine her internal world with the same care. Beautifully written, honest and very moving, Hidden Nature is also the story of Alys Fowler's emotional journey. Above all, this book is about losing and finding, exploring familiar places and discovering unknown horizons. The next one that I was sent by Penguin is quite an exciting one for me. I've been very intrigued about it. Bit of non-fiction, it is Jess Phillips' Everywoman. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jess Phillips is a British MP who has got a bit of a reputation for being an outspoken, feminist, slightly outside the status quo of what MPs are expected to be. And it just says, if you're thinking, Jess who? Then I'm glad that there was something about Everywoman and Truth that caught your eye. Or you might know me as that gobby MP who has a tendency to shout about stuff I care about. Because I'm a woman with a cause, I've been called a feminazi witch and a murderer and been threatened with rape. The internet attracts a classy crowd. So speaking the truth isn't always easy, but I believe it's worth it, and I want you to believe it too. The truth can be empowering, the truth can lead to greater equality, and the world would be incredibly boring if we let all of those people who allegedly know everything say everything. By demanding to be heard, by dealing with our imposter syndrome, by being cheerleaders, doers not sayers, creating our own networks, and by daring to believe that we can make a difference, we can. We're women and we're kick-ass, and that's the truth. So this one sounds really exciting. I'm very, very grateful to Penguin for sending me a copy of that. Thank you very much. Now, the last little selection of books sent to me by a publisher is very, very exciting. So there is a publisher in the UK called And Other Stories, and I have been in love with the stories and the books that they have published for a long time now. They do a lot of translated fiction, contemporary, modern things that you possibly wouldn't find anywhere else, and I'm a huge fan of them. And I've been stalking them on Twitter for a while and liking pretty much everything they tweet about new books coming up, particularly the new Yuri Herrera. His new book, Kingdom Con, is coming out soon, and I have read Transmigration of Bodies and absolutely loved it, and I've got this other one on my shelf as well. Basically, I liked a few tweets, and the lovely Nikki at And Other Stories messaged me on Twitter to say, hello, you like our tweets a lot, would you like some books? And I was like, oh, I love you, thank you very much. So she kindly sent me a lovely little box of books. So I have already opened it because I opened it like 5 minutes after I saw it because I'm that excited. But let's have a little look, shall we? First up, lovely little postcard saying, hi Levy, as promised, enjoy. Thank you, Nikki. So the first one in the box is Sorry to Disrupt the Peace by Patty Yumi Cottrell. It says, Helen's adoptive brother has killed himself. Helen's adoptive family is estranged. Helen has decided that she alone is qualified to launch a serious investigation into her brother's suicide and to be a supportive beam of light for her adoptive parents. Compulsive, unstable, likeable and high energy, Helen is hard work for the people in her life, and she may not be as useful at home as she expects. Sorry to Disrupt the Peace is a dark comedy about loss, grief, solitude and ghosts, and I've seen a lot about this one recently, and look, talk about gorgeous covers. It's got, you probably can't really see it on camera, but it's got this gorgeous, slightly metallic sheen, and it's just, oh, it's lovely, it's lovely. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. As I say, I love And Other Stories. I love what they do. They always publish something different, and this one I'm very, very excited about. Now the next one in the box is very exciting. I have been so excited about this one. I have read Yuri Herrera's The Transmigration of Bodies, and it is absolutely fantastic. And I've got Signs Preceding the End of the World on my shelf. For the last few months I've kept going to read it, but not wanting to because I didn't know how long I'd have to wait for another one, and I didn't want to read it and have too long to wait. So when I saw that this one was coming out, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do that soon. And now Nikki sent me this one, I've got no excuse. So Yuri Herrera is a Mexican novelist, and his books are always just absolutely beautiful. So this one says, in the court of the king, everyone knows their place. But as the artist wins hearts and egos with his ballads, uncomfortable truths emerge that shake the kingdom to its core. Part surreal fable and part crime romance, this prize-winning novel from Yuri Herrera questions the price of keeping your integrity in a world ruled by patronage and power. So yes, very, very excited about this one indeed. Next up in the box are two of César Aira's books. We've got The Little Buddhist Monk and The Proof. Now, I've not actually read any César Aira before, and I've been meaning to, and I've seen a lot of people talking about them on BookTube, and they've been quite well recommended in the world of sort of translated fiction. And these covers, I mean, I know I do this a lot, I talk about pretty covers, but do you have eyes? Can you see these? They're so pretty. The artwork is by Edward Bettison, so props Edward Bettison, you're pretty damn good. And these are translated from the Spanish by Nick Caster. So the proof says, Marcia is 16 and unhappy. One day she hears a shout, wanna fuck? Startled, she turns and is confronted by punk girls Lenin and Mao. She's soon beguiled, but her new friends have little time for philosophical discussions of love. They need proof of it, and gripped by their own savage logic, the duo stage a hold-up in an unforgettable Splatterfest finale. Splatterfest. I'm very excited to read The Proof. And then the next one is The Little Buddhist Monk, and it says, a diminutive Korean monk is dreaming of the Western world. When he meets Napoleon Chirac and Jacqueline Bloody Mary, a French couple visiting his country for a working holiday, he offers to be their guide. But though our monk seems the very spirit of tourism, the sights he selects become stranger and stranger, and his guests become increasingly distraught. Nothing is natural in this tour de force of Aira's twisted imagination. I'm very, very excited about this. I cannot wait to get stuck into these. I'm now contemplating over the summer perhaps doing a translated fiction blast over the summer. We shall see. Now, the last one in the box is something very, very exciting for me, and that is Deborah Levy's Black Vodka. Now, I've got the similar edition to this of Swimming Home, which I have not read yet, but I read Hot Milk recently and absolutely adored it. Again, I love her kind of writing just from reading that. It's sort of edgy and spiky and slightly off the cuff, and I absolutely love it. And Black Vodka I have heard so much about. I cannot wait to dive into this one. In fact, I might not wait. So there are 10 stories in here, the first one of which is called Black Vodka, hence the title. Now, all it says on the back is, how does love change us? And how do we change ourselves for love, or for lack of it? 10 stories by acclaimed author Deborah Levy explore these delicate, impossible questions. From glossy Adland to swans with a sleeping sickness, from London gardens to a forest outside Prague, these are 21st century lives dissected with razor-sharp humour and curiosity about what it means to live and love together and alone. So I'm so excited. And Other Stories are a publisher that I cannot recommend highly enough. The translated fiction they do is some of the most beautiful translated fiction I have read. They pick things that would otherwise fly under the radar. They're brilliant at bringing authors from across the world to the attention of a British reading public, or an English reading public I should say, and they're just fantastic. When you slip that book out of the bookshelf and you have a look at the covers are always bold, they're bright, they're punchy, or even if they're slightly duller colours, they're always so beautifully rendered. So in terms of design and in terms of content, they are absolutely wonderful. I cannot urge you hard enough to go and check them out. And I'd like to say again a huge thank you to Nikki over at Other Stories for offering to send me those. I cannot wait to get stuck in, and I will be continuing to tell all of my customers all about the wonders, particularly of Yuri Herrera, but of Deborah Levy and a lot of your other ones as well, so thank you so much. So those are all the books that I've been lucky enough to have sent to me in the last week or so. So yeah, that was the books that I've been sent this month by the publisher. As I say, I'm going to do another larger video on the books that I've bought this week, and that's the one where you'll really get to laugh at my lack of self-restraint. In my defence, it's my birthday coming up, so I'm just treating myself early. That's a defence, right? That's fair. So if any of the books that I've been sent by publishers in the last week or so float your boat, look interesting, let me know, have a little chat in the comments below, and I will see you in the next couple of days for my larger video about the books that I've bought this month. Bye!